Welcome to Well To Do. It is your podcast to feel abundant in wellness and in love. I am Andi Lew and I am the doom scrolling police today. I have seen an absolute pandemic, if you like. No, it's an epidemic of people who are absolutely addicted to technology. And there are so many things that this is creating in terms of ill health. So I just had to explain to you in this episode, not only what it's doing, but how we can avoid this terrible addiction. Are you ready? Hopefully you're not watching, or if you are, then you can actually be more intentional with this exact topic because we're going to unpack it very quickly. So bear with me. I would prefer that you're listening to this and that you're actually going for a walk. So that's the first thing, is to try and consume your podcasts, if you're getting a lot of them, through movement while you're listening. And if you're not going for a walk, maybe you're listening to it while you're cleaning up the house, doing some gardening or some kind of activity. Now, this is crucial because incidental exercise is where it's at. If you're only sitting in front of the computer up to 8 hours a day, or in front of technology, gaming, all the things, just in a couch position, couch potato, you're forgetting the fact that we are supposed to move with what's called incidentally throughout the day. And so this is where not only calories are burned and energy is expended, but it's also where, because movement runs the brain, you actually age less because of the cognitive function. The cognitive decline occurs when you're not moving. Now, there is a lot of, validation or validity when it comes to that saying or that phrase, move it or you'll lose it. That's why when you see somebody in, a hospital bed and God forbid you've had like an accident, the first thing that happens is they assign a physical therapist to come to you and move your limbs for you. So they're moving them because movement runs the brain. And if you don't move, you'll lose brain function. You'll lose your overall health. So this is the first thing to remember. If you're sitting in front of anything, make sure you are getting up at least once an hour, every hour, and forcing yourself to go get a drink at the, workstation, some water, some offering to get something for someone, using the toilet. I mean, seriously, so many people in workplace environments are on deadlines and they have all shared to me, I just had to move through and I have lost sight of the fact that I forgot to do my basic things like go to the bathroom, and they're sitting there in pain, not using it, trying to get through this deadline, or even they haven't eaten all day. So these are things that I need you to be aware of. Not only are they not good for you, but they are wreaking havoc on your hormones. They are ruining the nervous system function, and you may feel like you're anxious or depressed and you're reaching for a prescription for that, when in actual fact, it is just your lifestyle. So now let's talk about children or adults or teenagers who are using technology and having, let's say, their hands on the phone. And even if you have it at eye level or above, which is going to be better for you, your shoulders are pulled forward in that position. Now couple it with the fact that you're not aware of ergonomics and that your device isn't at eye level or above, and perhaps it's down in your lap. Now you have what's called fight or flight posture, just like a boxer. So they're curved over, like this, and there's actually less blood in the brain and the nervous system, and it's all in the extremities, just like a boxer in their fight or flight position. When they're in the ring, they are running off high cortisol and adrenals, and all of that blood has literally left their brain and is in their extremities, ready to fight or flight. Now, you do this in a sedentary position all day, every day, and there are going to be absolute ramifications. For example, the soft tissues around the thoracic area or the middle of the back start to form in this way. Now, imagine a baby in a pram who's been given a device to be babysat with. You think you're doing them an okay justice by letting them have X amount of time on their favorite cartoon show, but you are actually robbing them of optimal development, not to mention what it's doing to the eyesight. Teenagers, the same thing. Also, we are not designed to watch all that kind of moving imagery in that fast-paced, edited way. We're supposed to watch slow-moving imagery. We're supposed to look at nature and landscapes that move very slowly in conjunction with how we're designed to watch the rolling of the waves, the falling and rustling of the leaves. These are paces which are natural and healthy, and how God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, has designed us to observe imagery. So keep this in mind. So now when those soft tissues are forming in that way, you're actually putting pressure on the nerves that go to the diaphragm and the lungs. The way in which we breathe is compromised. So the diaphragm and the lungs are muscles. Nerves tell muscles what to do. Muscles are a reactive tissue, not an active tissue, meaning they don't have a mind of their own. They're getting told what to do through the signals of the nerves. So what's going on is now you're forming your body into this fight or flight position. You have distorted signals from brain down the spinal cord and the nerves to the diaphragm and lungs. And now you're actually breathing more shallow. And what does that do? That makes us feel like we're anxious, like taking short breaths, or depressed as we exhale too much. And when that in-breath and out-breath are not evenly matched, coupled with some of the imagery that may be negative, you start to go into this downward spiral. Now, I had to break it down for you like this because I need to wake you up. I need to shake you up. We are in an absolute problem with the entire world with our technological addiction. It is actually an area of expertise of mine to help you get off tech, even though I sometimes want to throw my phone away into the ocean. I love the ocean. And just never look at it again. So here's the thing. You're going to be like, Andi, don't be ridiculous. We all use it for work. But I guarantee you there are going to be times where you're not using it for work and you are doing what's called doom scrolling, and you've gone down that rabbit hole of watching, Catherine's aunt's uncle's ex-best friend's boyfriend who now has adopted 3 cats from the cat shelter, and now you're watching random things about that. This is the way the tech giants have designed for us to consume content. So I need you to be the bigger person and realize that if you're watching something that had nothing to do with what you were originally logging on for, then you may need to set boundaries. I talk about this in one of my books called Wellness Loading, Disconnect to Reconnect. It is a digital detox, and this is one of my favorite books. It's been around for maybe 6 to 8 years when the technological addiction first started to happen. And as a new mum, I got quite, concerned about my child and his teenage years. He didn't have technology until he was 11 years old, and we made a big deal about it. To this day, he doesn't have social media, and we read a lot, and his health is so much better for it compared to his friends who are doing the opposite and how they're starting to report that they're feeling. The big thing that I'm going to say, and you can get this book and you can do the workbook with your family or just, do it yourself. But the biggest thing and the first thing that needs to happen is that you need purpose. So we talked about boundaries, but purpose is the most important thing to, grab a hold of and really understand. If you don't have purpose in life or in your day-to-day activity, that saying is the one that I love the most about if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Just think about that. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. That means if you don't have purpose for your life's path, which those who are the happiest people in the world have a life's purpose or mission. I know I've put that into my own practice and I've just felt abundant every day. But if you're kind of like without purpose, without a greater mission, something, your why are you here? That existential crisis that we have, what is it that we're really here to do? If you're not acting on that, you will kind of just float around and, if you don't know where you're going, any path will take you there. Now take that notion and put it into when you pick up your technology. If you actually don't have intention about what am I picking this up for, I'm answering emails for 10 minutes, or I'm going to reply to all of my Instagram DMs for half an hour, or I'm going to just have some entertainment for 15 minutes and just allow myself to look at whatever pops up, or I'm going to reset my, Explorer page and delete a bunch of stuff that's somehow in there. You have to set intentions, just like when you go into a boardroom meeting, yeah? You're like, this is my plan. This is, my bullet points. points. What are we going to talk about today? You have an agenda. It goes for half an hour in that meeting and you need to get through it. So set an agenda for what you're doing with tech. It's no different. Your time is valuable. What could you be doing with that time that's going to serve you and your health so much more, but you've let it be taken over by the tech giants, right? You've let them have control over your life. Now, I'm not dissing on anyone here because this is how we connect. I have met the most amazing people, including you, through technology, but let's be intentional. So that's the key word. What is your intention? And then when you log off, I want you to be intentional with your daily practice as well. So in the book, Wellness Loading, I also have a journal section so you can record what you're doing. I also have beautiful, nourishing foods to help you be intentional with what you're eating. And these recipes are full color. It is absolutely stunning. I think everybody should grab a copy of this, even just so that they can understand how to make nutritious food for their family, for their children, for their loved ones. And I'll tell you why cooking is important, because believe you and me, we do have great companies that we can order food from, but that in itself is an issue as well. We don't know what kind of kitchen it's been cooked in or where it's coming from. It's probably been heated up in plastic. You're using a microwave that is basically nuking the food and robbing that food of proper nutrition, and that's the micronutrients that we need to be well. But also, this bit is going to blow your mind. When you touch food, when you touch plants, when you touch life, and you're working with food by cooking, it is the same effect when you are grounding, when you are earthing, when you are planting your feet in soil, right? Or sand or the grass, you know, that earthing feeling. It's the same thing because you're touching food that is alive. You're touching food that has a nervous system. And just like the red blood cells can disperse when, you know, you're grounding and earthing with your feet, the same thing happens with your hands. So people that I've worked with in my cooking schools and classes, or people that have done coaching with me, report to say that they have felt so much more well just from working with food, from food that is alive. So I always say, eat as close to nature as possible, eat organic or biodynamic where possible. And if you can kill it or grow it, you should eat it. Now, you can be a vegan and still apply that concept. It doesn't have to be a Paleolithic type of a comment that, you know, it has to be an animal that we have to hunt, because we are still eating a food or a fuel source that is alive, that then will give us life. Something else that I wanted to show you that might help with your technological addiction is having purpose in giving yourself something to focus on for the day. So I've developed this calm and connected card deck. Now, this is inspired as a result of the book Connected, a paradigm shift in how we view health. And there are 50 cards in here that you can action methodically once a week and set intentions, or you can do it once a day and act intuitively. Now, I've designed and authored originally every single card, and I can tell you right now that these cards do not go wrong. Everyone that's done it has gone, oh my gosh, how did it know that I needed that? So, and I've done it online for people as well who haven't bought the card deck yet. And by the way, this is all on my website. But I've said, give me something to think about and I will draw a card for you. So if anyone's ever done tarot reading or whatever, I guess it's similar to that. But what it's about is it's about energy and intention again. So I would like you to try this, but I'm going to think about something that I need and just intuitively pull a card from this deck. And wow, this is really cool. So it's telling me, this is what they look like, rainbows, be your own savior. And so for this week, this is my intention to focus on. I guess it's like having a wellness coach in your own, home, in the palm of your own hands every time you need a little bit of guidance or reminders. Trust and have faith that all you've been through so far and all you've done has led you to exactly where you are meant to be. We only make the mistakes from the lessons we are meant to learn from. All the breakups, conversations, and all the lack of closure taught you something. Be grateful for the lessons and strength that you've demonstrated thus far. How can you seek calm in knowing that you've got this and this is meant for you? So there you go. I'll give you an example of one more card. And as I said, it's never wrong because it is your powerful, intentional thought on what you are attracting. Just like when you've gone to, let's say, group healing session and you're like, wow, all the people that I've met in this group are actually the people that I needed in my life. Like everything is meant to be. Why? Because it happened. I'll think of something that you, the audience, might need now. This is for you. Oh, this is true too. It's time to learn. So every card is a different color. Knowledge is power. How can you make time to learn something through a book, a podcast, or a course? Like there's 50 cards. What were the odds of me pulling this one out? If you already have so much to share, how can you start to gift that wisdom to others now? So there you go. It's really that simple because it's asking me to get you to pay it forward. So it worked. Let me know if you loved this podcast or what resonated with you by making a comment or share it. But thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Well To Do.